bet you a time that funny cans. You've had bad memes.
Ooh.
Look at that. Put this in, and this will actually prove if he listens to this podcast or not. Because he says, "Oh, I click on it, and I listen to the first couple minutes, and then I like it, and I leave." Sometimes, and I'm like, "You're a liar." So we'll see, Kaz. I'm looking at you. All right, welcome back, everybody.
Oh my
welcome
god.
back, Brothers on Air. We took a week off.
We did.
Went to Colorado.
Yeah, I was out of state.
Stayed here in the bum, cold, /warm, /rainy, /muddy state.
Yeah.
The weather's just been
Whack.
It's unpredictable, man. It's unpredictable.
It's true.
But I had the privilege of driving Thomas to the airport at 3 in the morning and picking him up at 11:30 at night.
It's true. It's true. I appreciate it.
But yeah, we are back.
Yes, we are.
What are we doing? We're doing, let's be honest, we're just going to do another series. Because why not at this point?
It's true.
We've done, like 5? I think we've done 5 series.
We actually... Maze Runner.
Mm-hmm.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit.
We did another one.
Did we? I don't know, did we?
We did Hunger Games, Maze Runner, and a different one, I thought.
Ready Player One, but that's not technically a series yet, because
Oh,
the second one hasn't come out yet.
Wait. Are you sure? I thought we did.
Did we do another one? I don't know. That's all I can think of.
We did
I think that's it.
Oh, well, this is the 5th one.
Well, yeah, this is number 5.
Oh, look at that.
Indeed.
Quick with the numbers, man.
God.
All right.
So yeah, we're doing Pirates. That's the series we're doing.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, and the other actors.
Yeah, we're doing it because Justice for Johnny. Not actually, but we're just gonna throw this in there at the beginning of every single
Hoorah.
every single episode. Justice for Johnny. Am I right, guys?
And deportation for what's her name? Amanda Rose.
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard.
I was like, whoa, where are we going here?
I just don't want Amber Heard in this country anymore.
It's true.
I don't like her.
Just send her out.
All right, Thomas.
Anyway,
You know the question I'm gonna ask. You know the question I'm gonna ask.
I do know what you're gonna ask.
What are we drinking, Thomas? What are we drinking?
Just, the normal sweet tea in the Veil cup. A little bit of Veil.
I feel like I always have hot tea.
I always have sweet tea. Yep. It's all good.
And this mine is just tea bag. It's unknown. I just grabbed it out of a container.
All right.
So.
Anyway.
All right.
We can get into it now that we've had the full intro.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing Pirates of the Caribbean. I really wanted to get a rewatch of Pirates lately. I don't know why. I've just been itching. I wanted some Johnny Depp in my life. I wanted some pirates in my life. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So obviously we're starting off with the first one, Curse of the Black Pearl. Came out in 2003. Directed by Gore Verbinski. Written by a lot of different people. I'm not going to read all their names, but obviously starring Johnny Depp, Jeffrey Rush, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley. That's all the big ones right off the rip.
Yep.
But yeah.
Godfrey Rush.
I said
Godfrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey.
That's Jeffrey.
Don't leave him out, Tom.
I said that. I said Johnny Depp, Jeffrey Rush, Orlando Bloom, and Keira Knightley.
Okay, just make sure.
Yeah, he's in there. Don't worry.
All right.
Anyway, such a good movie.
Can I say this?
Please.
This doesn't have to do with the movie too much.
Say
But
it.
these movies are owned by Disney Plus now, right?
Well, they're just owned by Disney. It was always a Disney movie.
Sorry. But owned by Disney on Disney Plus.
Right.
And I went on Disney Plus to watch it.
Right.
And Disney Plus UI sucks balls.
Nah, it's not that bad.
So bad.
Nah.
It is so bad.
It's not good, but it's not bad.
I watched every single one of these movies during quarantine, and I just remembered, hey, you can't. There's no button to start from the beginning. Or if you get to the end credits, it doesn't just restart the stuff. So I have to go in.
No, there's a restart button.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
You're lying to me.
At least on the Xbox app, there is.
There isn't one on the laptop app or
on the web browser.
The web browser or the Apple TV.
Is there really not?
Fire Stick. Yeah. There's
Okay,
not.
first off, no one needs your peasant Fire Stick. All right.
All right, Thomas. You know what? Superior. So the one whose Apple TV broke.
It's true. Hold on. Now I want to go see.
A Fire Stick.
Is it really Does it really not work?
No. There isn't one. There's resume, there's trailer, there's add to list, and then there's try group watch.
Yeah, I clicked on it and it just started playing, so I apologize for that sound burst. So, anyway, listen, it's not great, but it's not terrible, because terrible is Amazon Prime Video. That is terrible.
You're right.
Like, yeah, that's just.
At least they also have an excuse. They have a slight excuse
because
they do sell every series. Like, they'll have a TV show separated by season.
Yeah,
because they
that's
sell
the worst.
Separately.
I hate that.
But,
it's like, let me add this show to my list, and you add the first season, and it's like.
Yeah. Or it's not as bad as HBO Max, where you can add specific episodes.
Yeah, that's
so stupid.
That's so weird.
So dumb. Just add the show and just go and watch it yourself.
Just copy Netflix. Just shamelessly copy them and just move on with our day.
I mean, they're literally the most subscribed one of you all, so who cares? Be like Apple and Samsung and all of those companies. Just copy each other, man.
Exactly.
My goodness.
Anyway.
All right. After that rant, let's hop into this. That's my first note. It literally says Disney UI sucks from the beginning. And so I can cross that one off.
Oh my god.
Right.
Where'd you like to start, Isaac?
Pick it up. Let me start with this. My next note. How creepy is it in the intro that Miss Swann is about 12 years old?
Yeah.
And the lieutenant is like 30 already.
I don't think he's 30. He's
bro.
probably like 18 or 20.
He doesn't look it. They literally didn't try any.
That is true. You know what? You're kind of true. That's kind of true. They didn't really do a whole lot to make him look younger, but her dad, they made him look a lot younger.
Yeah, like, he had black hair, and then later on he was wearing like a white wig. And I'm just like, she's like 12, and then 20 minutes later, you're like, he's like, marry me. I'm like, hold on, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know how.
It's just kind of creepy.
Wait. It was 5 years prior. That scene was 5 years prior. Remember, she said she saw the ship 5 years ago in the crossing from England. So then, like, in theory, say she's 18 now, then she was 13 then. So if he was 18 then, he's only like 23.
Was he?
Okay, let's say 20.
Or was she what? Was she 18 like in this movie?
I don't know.
Was she supposed to be?
How old was you?
I mean, it's definitely not based off of like Keira Knightley and as like
I know
her person. But yeah, I don't know. It just was weird to me. Oh, excuse me for that. That was gross. It's burped.
Following the film... Okay, this is what it says, right? Following the film's prologue, Elizabeth Swann is approximately 17 to 19 years old in The Curse of the Black Pearl, 20 years old in The Dead Man's Chest, and 21 to 22 at World's End.
That's wild. She does not look 18 in The Curse of the Black Pearl.
I don't know.
But whatever.
I mean, the actual actress was 17 during filming, so...
What?
Wait, you didn't know this? Yeah, she was 17.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, she was 17. It came out when she turned 18.
No way.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Nah. That's weird. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you didn't know that? That's really funny.
No,
yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Alright, well, you got the opening scene.
I thought, such a good opening scene, by the way.
It is good.
So good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great way to just intro, like, pirates again. Because one thing, okay, I was probably going to comment on this later, but we can just do it right off the rip. This movie series, like, broke, like, a streak of bad luck with pirate movies. Since, that had been going for almost, like, 40 years. Because not a single pirate movie was a success since, like, the late 60s, early 70s. Like, no one liked pirate movies since, like, Swiss Family Robinson in, like, the late 60s.
Yeah, you just got all these, like, I mean, I don't really know the movies before, but I kind of, like, am thinking of it, like, I mean, there was, like, Treasure Island.
Right.
As a movie. I don't really know.
Treasure Island's old, though.
They were all, like, goofy, like, pirate movies where, like, the main character wasn't really a pirate, and then you got into the pirate world, and there are all these, like, kind of dumb, stupid, like, you know, like seamen.
Bro, the original Treasure Island is from 1934. The remake was 1950.
Yeesh.
And then they remade it again in 1990. And then technically they remade it again in 2001 with Treasure Planet.
Yeah, but it's fantastic in Treasure Planet.
Oh, I mean, I agree. But that movie still bombed at the box office. A lot of reasons behind that, as we've talked. But, again, yeah, breaking like a long record of pirate movies absolutely flopping. To the point that there was a couple actors that were in consideration for a couple things that turned it down. One of which was Robert De Niro. First off, Robert De Niro as Jack? What the heck? Dude, the amount of actors they considered for the roles in this movie was insane. It was massive. But he turned it down, and apparently his reasoning was because there were not any good pirate movies for the last 35 years.
Which, like, makes sense.
Right.
Honestly, like, that's fair.
I agree.
Like, this like, trilogy, not even trilogy, this, like, series alone, this IP, there you go. Like, honestly, revived, like, pirate movies and just the theme of pirates. Because, like, nowadays it'll be, like, video games and stuff. Like, there's, like, the Xbox game that came out.
Sea of Thieves?
Sea of Thieves. Yeah, there you go. That's, like, a pirate-themed thing. And, like,
Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah. It's, like...
Sea Shanties.
They've also made, like, 5 of these movies.
Yeah.
Still going as well. One in the works.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's, like, they revived pirates.
Yeah. They really did, honestly. So I just wanted to throw that in there because, like, that was a huge thing that not a whole lot of people think about or talk about or even know about that these movies did, which was pretty crazy if you actually think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, sorry. Back to the movie. Great opening scene. Also, can I just say, great intro to Jack Sparrow. What a great intro. Oh my gosh.
It's so good. It literally, like, right off the rip shows you the type of pirate.
Yeah.
Like 10 seconds of scene.
Yeah.
He's like up on this, like, he kind of starts with a shot and you're like, oh, who is this?
It's like a tight shot of Jack.
Pirate. Yeah. And then it pans out and his boat is like 2 feet wide.
Yeah.
And he like jumps down into water and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's a broke pirate.
Yeah.
And then he sails into the shore on the top or into the bay.
It's sinking slowly.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the video that's like the prologue to this movie? It's like 10 minutes long. It's called something. I don't actually remember. But I don't remember what it's called. But you can find it if you just look it up. Like just look up prologue to Pirates of the Caribbean. And basically it was like the two women that like slap him in Tortuga. It's like the two of them were set up to think that they were gonna marry Jack. And they don't know about... Neither of them know until they both, like, find out, like, wait, what? And then, like, right when they find out, like, a curtain is lifted, and all of a sudden, they're, like, being auctioned as, like, prostitutes. What? Yeah. And then, like, it all turns around. I don't know. It's crazy. But it's, like, a whole thing that, like, turns around. And then it, like... And then she has, like, nails or something like that because Jack didn't show up. And then it pans to Jack's boat that's leaking and him, like, bailing it out and stuff. So, I don't know. It's not at all super necessary, but... That's why he was, like, sinking.
Is a boat that, like, the chick crewmates, because, like, they go up and he gets slapped again by her, and she's like, you stole my boat!
You know what? It could be.
That's what I thought it was, and he's like, I'll get it back to you.
It could be.
Obviously not. I feel like it is.
Definitely could be.
But,
Also, in this intro, I wrote this down. The initial symbolism in this movie is so good. It's so good. From exactly what we were just talking about, from Jack, like, the very first shot, you think, oh, this is like this incredible pirate, to it panning out and be like, oh god, what is this dude? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
To then it pans to 3 hung pirates. Then above it, I think it said, like, ye be warned or, like, something like that.
Yeah.
So, again, obviously displaying, like, hey, we don't like pirates. Like, the civilized world now is not about pirates. This is what happens if you're in piracy. To, like, directly after that, Jack is trying to, like, commandeer a ship from these 2 idiot soldiers that don't know what's going on and can't swim apparently either. So then it's like, all right, the British are clearly like a power in the region, but like they're kind of dumb and they're a little slow. Do you know what I mean? So like the symbolism of this movie in the first 5 minutes is incredible. Like all of these things that you then don't have to explain to the viewer. Also, I'm just like going on. But also, like, I wrote this down as well. like Elizabeth in an uncomfortable dress. Like right away, you get this feeling that like she doesn't really like where she is, to the point that her clothes she doesn't like. She doesn't want to be where she's physically going right now, to the point that she also passes out. Like all of this is like all the symbolism here is so good.
Yeah. I really like the intro for Jack, because like he goes to, it's starting off where it's like a close-up shot, and you're like, oh, this is like an important pirate. He's like sailing, I don't know, on probably a big boat. You just only see the ocean.
Right.
And then it pans out, and he's on like a really tiny boat that's leaking with water, and you're like, okay, he's a pirate alone, super poor with this tiny boat.
Right.
And then you see him like pass by the dead pirates, and he like takes his, and I'm like, oh, so like he's a hardened pirate where he's like, I like respect pirates. Like I'm a pirate. It's not like I'm just like randomly one where he's like, it's sad to see other pirates die. And then he like floats into the shore with like standing on top of the boat, and like right as he steps off, it completely sinks.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, a lot of like he's not like everything's broken, but like he's smart enough and good enough that he like lasted all the way to just step off.
Yeah.
So things work for him. And then he's also like smart enough to be like, I'll give you 3 shillings and forget about the name.
Yeah.
And then like he's like street smart, and then he steals coins, and then like probably like 10 seconds later he just kind of like seems like dumb.
Yeah.
It's just like all at once you're like, oh, he's kind of like a broke pirate, but he has morals, but he also is like lucky, or just like kind of somehow things work for him.
Yeah.
But also like street smart when it comes to like the underground. And I'm like, geez, so much is happening.
So much subliminal messaging that doesn't then have to be explained or spoon-fed to the audience. I wrote this down later, but like this movie is so good about not spoon-feeding information to the audience.
Yes. This movie is just written so
well. My gosh. It's incredible.
Oh my god.
It's honestly so good. I have like 4 notes saying, oh my goodness, this writing is incredible.
Yeah. I've written down a couple like monologues and like lines between people of like writing. They just write.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, one of the hardest things to write is dialogue between 2 people.
Yeah.
And they do it so well.
Yeah.
So good.
And the fact that they have Johnny Depp also helps a lot. Like, I was, of course, frequenting the trivia page. And even, like, apparently they were saying, like, even signing Johnny Depp at the time, although he was, like, a pretty, like, well-known actor from doing, like, pretty well-known films, like Edward Scissorhands, for example, it was still, like, a relatively, like, commercially, in a commercial sense, like, a risk. But, like, I think, obviously, he made this movie, and this movie is him. Oh, all these movies are him.
100%.
And just having him and the amount of, like, improv lines and things that he contributed to this movie. For example, like, his catchphrase when he just goes, savvy, that was completely improv. That was just him that he just came up with.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, it's so good.
Oh, my goodness. It's so well done.
Yeah. So, I didn't... Let me think. Where did I go? Oh, I didn't really, like, write a whole lot down from when he, like, ran into those 2 soldiers. We'll probably learn their names later, but I don't remember their names. To when Jack and Will start fighting. The whole, like, chase scene is very entertaining. It's always good. Yeah. All the notable lines come up. So good. You're the worst pirate I've ever heard of, but you've heard of me. All the things. I love it, like, give me my effects. I always say that, like, before I leave the house, like, let me grab my effects. I just love it. It's so good.
Oh, when he's, like, gets saved out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, in the fight with Will and Jack, in, like, the blacksmith thing, you get, like, a little bit of foreshadow of, like, he pulls a pistol, and he's like, this bullet isn't meant for you. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? And then also, like, it gives you, like, it's also, even the fight itself is, like, character building in, like, a good way, and not, like, a Game of Thrones way. It's, like, and I say that for in the last seasons of Game of Thrones. It's, like, you see Jack and Will's, like, attitude towards, like, honor fighting or whatever.
Right.
Where, like, Jack is kind of like, oh, like, he's fighting and kind of not taking it super seriously, but then at the end, he's like, oh, whatever, let's throw dirt in your face. And then he's like, and then it's like, well, I think Will says a sign just, I think later is like, I would have killed you or whatever. And he's like, all the less reason to fight honorably then, or something like that. Like, if what is on the line is my life, then, like, why fight with honor if I'm just going to die?
Right.
But
yeah, that
fight scene itself was good.
That whole fight scene is very entertaining. One thing I wrote about it was that it was interesting that the second they met, Jack like recognized him somehow. He didn't know his name, but he's like, "Have I met you before?" Like right away, he was just like,
threatened you before?
"Hold on a second," which I thought was very interesting.
Wait. I didn't even tie that. That's probably because he's supposed to look like his dad, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was fascinating. Also,
yeah.
Sorry, one thing I wrote down earlier before that I remember noticing, just when, like, after Jack, like, saves Elizabeth and the tables turn and she has to, like, dress him quick before he, like, escapes, I wrote down the costume design in this movie is incredible. Like,
it's really good.
It's so good. They just nailed every aspect of exactly what a pirate is. Both, like scrappy, but still, like, put together, but gross, but still, like, presentable. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just, like, it was just so perfect.
Yeah. Bro, they got nominated for 5 Oscars and didn't win any.
That's whack. This movie deserves at least one, honestly.
Yeah.
But,
honestly, oh my goodness. It was also looking at the Oscars, the sound mixing and the sound, like, effects and stuff were really good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just like the one I think back to is like when they're fighting and like just first of all fighting all there, like there's a bunch of sounds going around, like swords hitting, and then he pulls like one that's super hot and you can kind of hear like the hot metal smacking, and then they're like hitting wood and the donkeys moving around.
Yeah.
But like the scene where Jack pulls his sword off and goes like up and down the blade and
right.
start fighting.
Right.
I love that scene. I don't know why. It's just funny to me. But
I like how Of course, if you've ever seen like any of the screen caps, you can see Will's tattoo of the Lord of the Rings thing is there, which is always fun to see.
Yeah, that's cool.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, I just thought it was cool how you like kind of pick up on things like, oh, he like noticed him for a second, but didn't like actually connect the dots until he learned his name, and then he was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets arrested. I don't know, stuff happens. A battle ensues at Port Royal.
I have 2 notes on this whole battle. One, I like how the first introduction also, like, in itself, like, the first introduction to actual pirates, right? They're, like, storming the castle or, like, the city or whatever, and they're, like, super just, like, kill everything. Their vicious are just going and, like, stealing and stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is a very, like, highly different contrast to what, like, Jack was. Where, like, he's a pirate too, but, like, he's kind of just, like, chilling and, like, wants to get things, like, not, like, he isn't, like,
self-preservation.
People. Yeah. And then also the scene in the prison when the pirates come down and, like, talk to Jack. That dialogue is so good. It's so good. They literally, like, lay out so much for you, but, like, don't tell you what it all means.
Right.
Like, they talk about, like, the last time I saw you, you were fading off into the distance.
Oh, yeah.
They say to Jack.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, they left him on an island. Then he says, like, there's a special place, like, you're talking, it's like, wait, how do they know each other? And then Jack says there's a special place in hell, like, for mutants and traitors or whatever. So I'm like, oh, so, like, they mutinized. Does that mean they mutinized on Jack? And then the guy, like, grabs his throat, and it's like you see, like,
the Skelly boys.
Yeah. And then he goes, oh, so, like, the curse is true. So you're like, oh.
So there is a curse.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, look at that. That's how you write information for the audience.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness.
I like how even before that, Jack recognizes his ship by the sound of the cannons. I was like, what? It's so good.
How long did Jack have the ship for, bro? Like, he...
So there's... There's, like, not a lot, but, like, a short bit of information that I found discussing the background between the pirate brand, Davy Jones, and the Black Pearl. Should I save that till next episode because we're talking about Davy Jones, or should I talk about it now because we're talking about pirates and the branding?
Save it to next episode.
Okay.
Save it to next episode.
One thing on that pirate brand, that was actually real, except in real life, the East India, or the East Trading Company, or the East India Trading, I don't remember what the actual name is. They drop one of the words. They would do it on the forehead.
Really?
Yeah.
They just branded people as pirates on the forehead?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know.
Jeez, I had no chill back then.
Nah.
My goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, good scene. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That whole like raiding scene, bro. When that kid screams, I hate that every single time. Every single time I watch this movie, I like dread that kid screaming in the square. I hate it.
Oh, him like crying?
I don't know why I hate it so much, but I hate it. It's so uncomfortable.
He literally just goes, ah, and then he moves on.
And then he gets snatched up. Oh, I just hate it. It's so like, I hate it. It's so uncomfortable. Oh, I wrote this down as well because I was curious. What is the hierarchy of power between the governor and the Commodore?
I have no clue.
Isn't the governor technically higher?
I think the governor is like of that city, isn't he? Or
I think.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's like the head of that city. And first of all, the East India Trading Company, which is who the Commodore is like a part of, was like.
Oh, the Commodore's a part of the Royal Navy.
Oh, what? Aren't
yeah.
They like one and the same?
No.
Isn't the East India Trading Company British?
Yes. But it is because it's like the East India Trading Company is a nationally owned company, so it is a part of the British Empire, except it is not an armed force, whereas the Navy is obviously an armed force.
Not an armored force.
So I feel like, in theory, I guess now that I'm just talking about this out loud, I kind of figured it out. But I feel like the governor is technically higher, but when like obviously battle's ensuing, it kind of defers to the guy that's in the armed forces. Like, hey, maybe get the hell out of here and go to your office.
Yeah. Also, he's like a pushover. And
that's true.
Know what's happening at all? So, like,
literally ever.
Yeah. So like they're just like, get out of the way, you old dumb man, and they like do their own thing. But yeah, I wrote another good writing thing. A good piece of writing when Elizabeth like wants to parlay and goes into the ship and she's like speaking in proper language to what's his name?
Barbosa.
Yeah, Barbosa. Yeah, I don't know why I blanked on his name. She like says something and he's like, you're gonna have to like there's a lot of like long words for us mealy pirates, and then she says something and he goes, I'm disinclined to
acquiesce your request.
Means and he goes
means no.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's so good. Man.
Yeah,
like, it's so funny.
One thing I wrote down that was just before this is when she was getting chased around her house and stuff. She runs into a room and grabs like the sword off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like she knows how to use a sword all of a sudden, even if it just came free. Like, what are you gonna do with that? Just like. Stay away! You had a lot more time to just dip out a window and leave. If the maid could run out the front door, you could have left.
Also, though, like, where did she learn how to sword fight? Because in the end of in the movie, she's just battling with Will.
Don't worry about it. Don't know.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Nah.
But whatever. That's plot holes.
It's alright, doesn't matter. I just thought it was funny. Like, when I watched it again, I was like, if that came, like, out, what would you have done with it? Like, probably nothing. But
apparently kill him because she's a legend at sword fighting.
Apparently.
Maybe that was later.
I also wrote iconic lines of dialogue in this movie, probably talking about, I'm disinclined to acquiesce your request. Ugh. What a good line.
Yeah, it was so good. Also, just talking about parlay, later, when like Jack is trying to say parlay, and he's like parlay, like later, and somebody says it for him. The side guy, he's like, damn the man who like made the word parlay, and Jack goes,
that would be the French.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Again, excellent writing. So good.
Great.
I love those jokes. I still have more things to say about this whole scene. How does she know so much about pirates? Like, obviously she's curious, and that was kind of established in the first 5 minutes. But, like, at the same time, it was also established that, like, the British Empire isn't about pirates. And I'm assuming they wouldn't just, like, keep info of random piracy and their, like, rules and customs as pirates on board or, like, available.
I think she's the governor's daughter, so she can get information when she wants.
I guess that's true.
Like,
she just seems to know a lot. Like, a lot.
Yeah. I don't think it's really, like, questionable. Like, you don't really have to question
No.
it. Also, like, I mean, she, like, grabs the pendant, right, and, like, puts it on type thing. So, like, that kind of shows, like, she is still fascinated by pirates.
Right.
As a kid and as, like, a adult.
Right.
And, like, the whole world is interesting to her, so.
Can we talk about this pendant for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. it was said to her right before she was, or either on the ship or right before she like held it out, that the gold calls to them, right?
Mm.
And then at the end of the movie, they can apparently walk underwater.
Yeah.
So why did they care if she dropped it?
I don't know.
Before they knew her name, her fake name.
Okay, yeah, but
that made no sense to me, dude. That was kind of dumb.
Ocean's different than shore water.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know. It doesn't. That's a that.
Yeah, it's whatever. Anyway,
that's a plot hole. Yeah, that is a plot hole.
That's a little bit of a plot hole. Come on.
Terrible writing, man. Jeez.
There's not many, but I did write that. And I was like, hold on, that doesn't line up.
I didn't really think of that, but
anyway, so yeah, no, you're
steal the boat.
They steal the boat. There's a whole dialogue and things. Okay, first off, that underwater scene when they're like walking with the canoe, that's still hilarious to me. That's hilarious. It's so good. Also, because I had an argument about this in the group chat yesterday, it is scientifically possible to do so, and then that whole proposition is completely sound. The only thing that is in question here is the amount of weight that would be needed to keep the canoe down.
Yeah.
That is all.
Also, like, the distance that they're going, is there going to be enough air for the two of them to breathe in there to get there?
Probably,
really only
but
this much space, and then, like, 6 feet forward, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like 10. But, I mean, like, probably if they, like, watch their breathing. But, I mean, yeah, I know it's possible.
Right.
Like, you can literally do it with a cup. You push a cup on the water, the air's going to be in it.
Yeah,
What?
Exactly. Again,
interesting though. I like that they thought of that idea. Like the writers were like, "Oh," or like whoever made the screenplay or whatever.
Right.
It's cool.
Right.
It's a cool idea.
Another great line when they're in there. Will goes, "This is either madness or brilliance," and Jack responds, "It's remarkable how often those things seem to coincide."
Yeah.
What a great piece of dialogue! Oh my gosh, it was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Also, honestly, what an ingenious plan to steal a ship. Like, so backwards, but it just works.
Yeah.
So good. It's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so yeah, they're on Tortuga now. Things happen. They get there. There's a whole line of dialogue and things between them getting there, but whatever. I didn't really write anything down about that.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, your father is Bootstrap Bill, and
right.
Like, no, he's not. And it's like, yes, he is. And that's it.
You can either accept it or you can just go drown. Like, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. That was about it.
Yeah. So Tortuga, which Tortuga is a staple in all the movies. I think they go to that probably every single movie.
I think so.
Which is like
real place, by the way.
Yeah, I think
so. Is Port Royal, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah. It was in Jamaica.
Yeah. The heck?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't Port Royal in England?
No, it's of the Caribbean.
Where's? Oh yeah, they're not in the Caribbean. I forget.
Yeah, it's in Jamaica.
They're not in England. Oh yeah, Caribbean. I didn't even think of that. Wow.
And
the movie really went over my head. Not gonna lie.
You know where Tortuga is, Isaac?
Haiti.
Yes, sir.
Oh, beast.
Yes, it is.
I mean, Haiti just at that time it seemed pretty lawless.
I mean, at that time.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Still is, boy.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, all right, so they're at Tortuga. I don't know. You get introduced to
Gibbs, which is hilarious because he's sleeping with the pigs.
Yeah, but the little like subtle, like they throw water on him. It's like that was for the smell, and he's like,
yeah, all right,
yeah,
okay,
that's great.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
Jack's little thing where it's like it's bad luck to wake a man. It's like not if the or what is it? The man who wakes buys the man who was waking a drink, and the man who was waking gives information to the man who wakes, or like something. And he's like,
he's like that works out.
Yeah, it's so funny. I love it.
Yeah.
And then they get I don't know what happens next.
Yeah, the only thing I wrote two things down. First off, take what you can, give nothing back. Again, great piece of line. Like, great piece of dialogue. Good thing.
Yeah.
One thing I did write down that I thought was interesting, though, is that it seemed like Gibbs didn't actually know Barbossa personally.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, which I never actually picked up on before rewatching it this past time.
Yeah.
I'm not that it's like super like important either, but I don't know. I was just like, oh, interesting.
I mean, like thinking about that, like his conversation with Will, he was talking to him. It's like that was back when he was still the captain of the Pearl, and like I didn't know him or whatever.
Right.
And like Barbossa was his second, I'm pretty sure. Like, and he was the one who called the mutiny.
Yeah.
And then he became captain.
I think.
So yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like a backstory on this guy from like being on the crossing from England and like Elizabeth knowing him and recognizing him later to like him waking up with the pigs would be very interesting. Completely unrelated or needed, but it would be very interesting.
True. Yeah, you see him at the crossing and you see him sleeping with pigs.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's interesting. When they grab the crew for like their ship, you know how like the bird always says something?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew what he said, so I turned on closed captions and he says "wind in your sails."
Oh, like, it's like just calling like BS.
Yeah, and they were like, we come to think of that as him saying yes. And I'm like, what? Also, like, he doesn't ever, like, the bird, like, it's funny how the bird will just, like, say something random, and, like, the people will be like, yeah, this is this.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I was like, what?
Also,
like,
in that prologue, the guy talks.
Does he?
Yeah.
When?
In the prologue, don't know.
Oh, wait, what are you talking about?
In the prologue that I was talking about earlier, how it kind of set up like why Jack was coming in on a sinking ship. That prologue, he talks.
So he has his tongue
down. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like the line between Gibbs and Jack where he's like, he trained the parrot to talk. And he's like, we're still figuring out how though. Like he can't talk. So,
Mr. Cotton's parrot.
Yeah.
Same question.
That's so funny.
Like the parrot remembers what he just said. Like same question. So good.
So good.
What
happens next?
It goes to Barbossa and Elizabeth talking. Again, great scene of setting up exactly what happened in the past, like without just being like, "Hey, audience, here you go. Here's your information." Like it. Yeah, I don't know. It was great. So yeah, I like that scene. It was fun.
The little line, I really want to look up the monologue of it. What? Why is... Okay, I looked up Barbossa quotes or something, and The Weeknd popped up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes, makes sense.
Barbossa. I don't know. Also, why is he in Apple so much? I don't get it.
Because I actually know this question. Because he wanted that to be the first thing he tasted.
Yeah, but why?
Don't know, but that was his first thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know he was like, I'm gonna eat like a bushel of apples or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But like, why? I don't get it.
I actually did read this. It was something along the lines of Jeffrey Rush is Australian, and that type of apple is originally from Australia. So they just chose that food or something like that. Because later in the movie, remember, like there was the two pirates that were like planning on what they were going to eat first when they come back to being like a real people.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently that was the whole thought process on the Granny Smith, that was going to be the first thing he was going to eat when he could actually taste things again.
The monologue though, can't find it. Oh my gosh, I can't find it. But like when Elizabeth goes out and sees the skeletons for the first time, Barbossa's like little monologue is so good about like he's like, for too long I haven't like felt smelt the air or like the water on my face. Like for too long I've been starving but haven't died. And it's like for too long have I not like felt the flesh of another person or something. I'm like, it was just so good.
Yeah.
Just to all of a sudden you see these skeletons and it's like, oh yeah, they're like skeletons.
Yeah.
But, like, hey, they're like still alive.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he says we're among the living, but like not. what is it?
We're neither
among the living.
We're like neither living nor dead or something like that.
Yeah,
or...
something like that. And I'm just like, oh wow, so this is more than just their skeletons. Like,
right.
It's a curse that's like not painful. I mean, it's somewhat painful, but like, it's just like depressing on them. I guess like in some way.
Right.
And it's just like really sets up why they're doing this.
Right.
Just like that monologue then as well, like sets up why they are actually like taking her and what the whole point of this whole thing is, and like what the gold piece actually means, as opposed to just it being like a piece of 8.
Yeah.
It's like
it wasn't even a piece of 8 actually.
It was a piece of 8,802.
No, a piece of 8 is no, it was. Was it a piece of 8?
Yeah, he says it's pieces like.
No, pieces of 8 is in the later movies. Yeah, it's in the later movies.
He says that though.
Does he? No, I don't remember. I can't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I think the pieces of 8 are what they like on the bowl, right?
Yeah,
like,
the 9 pieces of 8. It's so good. I love that.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but yeah, that. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for the later movies. It's so good. All right.
I just want to talk about one thing during the scene that you were just talking about. The digital effects hold up after 18 years. I think they're so good. Like, still really good.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, they're really good.
Like, I don't notice anything like, oh, that kind of sucked. Like, there was not a single time of CGI in this movie that I was like, ugh. Like, honestly, all was excellent.
Yeah. What am I looking at, bro?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm reading. This doesn't... Is this like books? Quoting Barbosa from books? What the heck? Get out of here. I'm sick of that. Alright, exit these pages. And I'm back. That was just really random. Alright, I agree though.
Okay, your sound was like behind you too, so I could see you like moving your head, and then it would catch up.
No, because I had more than one freaking tab open, so it started lagging for a second. This computer's garbage!
Oh my gosh. Anyway, the next line I had was when Gibbs was telling Will about the story of Jack being marooned and stuff. Again, excellent way of giving the audience information. Also, that whole like when Will's like that was all again like his own interpretation that he really wanted to do that the director let him do. Can we just talk about the story for a second? He sits in the water for 2 days straight, and on the 3rd day, he apparently grabs a bunch of sea turtles, somehow connects them all, and he made a raft. Yup.
I mean,
from human hair on his back.
Even Will goes, he roped them together. He's like, with what rope? and then it's just like, with human hair from my back, and then it cuts away, and it's like, all right.
Will is like, this is why I love it, because Will is literally the audience right there. This whole scene, Will is just the audience. From him going to wait, rope.
Yeah, but it's even like funnier. It's like, okay, Jack got off the island. Like the idea of him on the island like adds up because like the pistol is like a thing where he says the shot is meant for you, like him knowing the Black Pearl and stuff. But, like, that story is probably not real.
Right.
So it's like, how did he actually get off this first, like, island by himself?
Yeah.
He's not dumb, but, like, he isn't this clever.
Right, right. Like, there's no way that happened, but, like, he was there.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's funny.
So, yeah, then it pans to, like, the other pirates from the Black Pearl. Like, they get to the Isla de Muerte, which just means Island of Death. You didn't know.
Nice.
I love how when the one dude is like, "Did it work?" Dude just shoots him.
That's great. Yeah, and he literally goes. I think he's like, "Oh, it didn't work." And he's like, "Wait, you shot me."
Yeah.
He has to process it again. Honestly, like the timing of jokes is just great. Where it's like not
it's amazing.
Even like it's not like a like setup and punchline in itself. It's just like reaction to something, and it's just funny.
Yeah,
and it's just really greatly timed. Oh my goodness, so good. Yeah, then they do that. They all start turning on him. I like how all these pirates, again, like, just the second something doesn't work, they turn on him. Also, I didn't really understand this until this, like, viewing, because I listened. All that gold there, they've been storing up until they become human again, and then they'll spend it. Because, like, they can't spend it on anything that, like, is, like, you know, of pleasure, because they, like, can't feel or do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, why spend anything?
Yeah.
And so he's finding, like, 10 years of or is it 10 years? I think it's 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 10 years of storing up our treasure or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so that's how all the gold is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And I, for some reason, thought that it was like, that's where the gold was, because the cursed chips were, and the rest of the gold was just there along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was all collected.
Yeah.
So that makes sense
now. You already said that would be the French thing. Great line.
Yeah.
The next thing I wrote down was when in Elizabeth and Will. I keep wanting to say Orlando because that's his real name, but I just keep forgetting his character's name. But whatever. When Elizabeth and Will are, when she like finally confides in him that like, hey, she has this medallion and it was from him. Why did he get all mad for a second? Like,
I thought it was his. Yeah,
that was
always like, dude, whatever.
Yeah, right? And then it's Amelia pointed this out too, and I feel like I have to say it, otherwise she'll be mad. But like,
yeah,
if it's so precious to him, why did he leave it below deck?
Yeah. Also, why did he like?
You know?
I don't even know. Also, like, he never even like says anything of it. Never mentions it until this moment.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh my goodness, like this is mine. My father gave it to me. Like, what? You barely remember your father as it is.
Yeah.
You remember him giving you this very specific piece of gold.
Yeah.
5 years ago. Like,
yeah.
What?
I thought that whole little thing was kind of dumb, honestly, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's nothing to really complain about, but it's just
it sets up him almost dying, which again, honestly, I really don't like that scene of him almost dying. How does he get free of that? I forget.
Don't know. Doesn't show. He like dives down, then it just explodes, and all of a sudden he's on the ship all wet.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I don't really know.
Oh, okay.
But
that makes sense. I think I must have looked away from the TV.
One thing I wanted to note though, okay, so there's the two ships, right? Barbossa and Jack and the Black Pearl are chasing the Dauntless. The Dauntless. First off, do you know that a lot of things were based off of the real ship that the Dauntless is? Like, for example, in Treasure Planet, their main ship is based off of that ship. Kind of cool.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm guessing it was a real ship.
And yeah.
Said
yeah.
It was like the best ship.
But like the ship in the movie, like it's like real, right? That it may not be called the Dauntless in real life, but that ship was cool things. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, what?
What do you mean in real life it's real?
Okay, so you have the boat, and then in the movie they called it the Dauntless, but the actual like pieces of wood that make a ship are real. Just like if you go down to Discovery World, there's a pirate ship.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just thought it was cool that they based a lot of things off of that ship. That's all I'm saying.
They didn't build any like real boats or hire any real boats, right? They did CGI in the water.
No, they did some actual like they had like 9 days of filming at sea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm guessing a lot of like the stuff that's happening, like the dialogue on a boat where it's just like person to person, they can just build a set of like the top of a boat.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just saying like any like the pan shots of them actually like driving it or something, those are real. Which probably is a combination of CGI.
Probably.
Because they did a fantastic job with CGI.
Yeah. Their digital effects in this movie are excellent. One thing that I thought was interesting that I saw, speaking of like filming outside and stuff that I saw on the trivia page, is that Johnny Depp wore contact lenses that were tinted so that he wouldn't be squinting all the time outside. Mildly interesting. I don't know. Anyway.
What the heck? So how does that work?
Yeah. Keira Knightley has some too, apparently, but she hated them so much that she tossed them out the first day that she used them.
That's wild. What a beast. That's awesome.
I know. Anyway, there's one thing that I wanted to mention because I really want to know if this is real and I don't actually know.
Yeah.
So they're chasing them, blah, 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 and then, like, I like how, like, the part where Barbossa, like, brings out the spyglass and all of a sudden, like, Jack just kind of gets in front of it. He's like, hold on, you know? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember how like Jack had like an apple and he just kept eating it, and then at the end of their whole dialogue, somehow Jeffrey Rush has it and he looks at it, he just like throws it? Was it scripted that Jack had an apple in his hand? Because that looked so like not scripted that all of a sudden he had one in his hand. He's like, hold on a second, and he's like, I don't want this. And he like throws it. I don't know why. Even if it was scripted, it's so perfect.
He grabs an apple down in the like when they're talking, right? He like grabs it off and he starts eating it.
But I want to know if he was supposed to still have it type deal when he was above deck, just because. And if he wasn't, hey, even better, because that acting was incredible. Yeah. I just loved it when all of a sudden he was like, how did this get in my hand? Like, he had it? Wait, what the heck? And he just throws it. I don't know why. It was just so good.
It wasn't written for him to give it to Barbossa.
Right.
To, like, take it or something.
Right.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like, yeah.
Either way, it was excellent, but I just noticed, I was like, I wonder if that was scripted. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love thinking about this. I love how Jack is like super afraid of the monkey.
Yeah.
And, like I don't get that. And then Elizabeth walks onto the boat later, and the monkey like screams at her, and she just like gets a straight face, and then he's like, "Oh no," and like and she throws the monkey off. And like, why is Jack so scared of this monkey?
Do you know the whole the monkey Jack running back to Barbossa wasn't scripted? It just happened, so they just kept it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope.
I know. That's crazy.
Well, that's fantastic.
I found it interesting that it took an hour and 22 minutes or something like that until you saw a pirate flag. This was the first thing you see a pirate flag.
You saw one in the water, don't you, in the beginning shot?
Yeah, you might. But I mean, I meant like flying. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's like a heavy symbol, so like they kind of saved it. Because like that is, it's like, oh, pirates. When you see like a flag.
I don't even think... Wait, when Jack was coming into harbor, he might have had one. No, did he? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he... Yeah.
But that was the first time I noticed it, anyway. I guess the one in the water in the beginning, but...
Yeah. I don't think he did that, because it's just like a rundown boat with like red flags.
Right.
Or like red sails or whatever. But yeah.
I didn't...
And then...
They
go to the last battle.
Wait, he gets marooned. I said it looked like a very nice island.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, it's kind of cool. I like that thing because you like the first bit you find out that like it was just a rum runner ship that actually saved him.
That's an actual island that's like owned by some like cruise resort type deal.
Really?
And the next time they showed up after they filmed, they didn't know that there was filming going on, so they just found like a burn pile of like palm leaves and like crates.
That's wild.
Thought that's really funny.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, you can just get up to the fight because there's really nothing in between.
Right. I thought it was Barbossa's reaction to Jack turning up again was so funny.
Yeah, that was great.
Impossible, improbable, mate.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Amazing.
Jack Sparrow's like little quippy like comebacks are so good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny.
Honestly, Jack's proposal to Barbossa is very solid.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good proposal, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I like how they talk down, like, I'll give you 5 or 10%, and he's like 50, 25, like 45.
It's like 30, 25, I'll give you a hat. A really big one.
So funny. And then it was like ideal, and then Jack Sparrow turns and he like kind of starts to be captain. He's like, "To the ships!" And he's like, "Oh, sorry."
You give the order.
Yeah, that was so funny. Also, like I remember the first time watching this, not catching that Jack I was a child or whatever. When did this come out? 2001. When did this movie come out, Thomas?
2003.
I forget.
I didn't realize that was a question. Sorry.
Yeah. So, this movie came out in 2003, so the first time I saw it, I was, I didn't watch it when I was 3, so I watched it, probably, younger, a couple of years later.
Yeah.
But, I just, didn't see, him, doing the sleight of hand with the other chip.
Yeah.
Right? And so, when he gets stabbed and becomes a skeleton, I'm like, whoa!
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I always he steals a piece of 8, or,
the Cortez's gold.
The gold. The Cortez's gold. And then he's fighting Barbossa, and then like he stabs Barbossa in the chest, and Barbossa was like, "Mate, what's happening?" And then he stabs him back.
Yeah.
And Jack is like, "Ugh," and then like falls back, and he's like a skeleton, which he looked like a dope skeleton.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like that. I love that he grabs the coin and like flicks it through his fingers, and it's like the sound of the coin on bone. And I'm like, oh, it's so cool.
I agree, because okay, I feel I'm very happy that I'm not the first one to realize this, or just only now realize this, because I agree. I was exactly the same way. I always noticed like he kind of like sleight of hand like took a coin.
Yeah.
But I never connected it to the fact that, oh, that's why he turned into a skeleton, because he did steal a coin. And then him going it through his fingers was him, and he said, I couldn't resist. Again, just reaffirming, that's why he's a skeleton. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I only just realizing this?
I knew that he turned into a skeleton because he took a piece of coin. But I never, like, I just didn't, like, see the little, like, him taking it. I like how, like, he grabs it, and, like, he's, like, playing with it in front of them. And then he goes, like, every last one, and then he kind of, like, takes the last one. Like, he just, like, snakes on. And then Will sees it. Like, there's, like, a little part where, like, it kind of focuses on the hand for a minute, and Will's looking down and looks back up. And then he goes, so this was your whole plan the whole time.
Yeah.
And then, like, so he kind of knows that, like, he took it, and like, he's not being serious and stuff. Also, like, thinking about this, the snap between Jack and Barbossa just, like, chilling, looking at Golden talking, and then them fighting is, like, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
They, like, go out to, like, the skeletons, like, getting onto the boat, and they come back, and Barbossa's like, I'll give it to you, Jack, something. And I think Jack says something about, like...
again, great piece of dialogue.
Yeah, what does he say?
He's like, you know what? I need to find this.
Yeah, I forget. He says something about, like, you can't trust...
Wait. I'm dishonest, and a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. Honestly, it's the honest ones that you want to watch out for, because you can never predict when they're going to do something incredibly stupid.
Yeah, then he starts fighting, which is funny. Which also then is like, wait, is he an honest man actually? Because he just did something stupid and started fighting these dead people. But who knows? Who knows? I guess it's up to the audience to decide if he's dishonest or honest.
Honestly, what a fantastic, again, this just illustrates how good the dialogue in this movie is. To me, I'm dishonest, and a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. Honestly.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's the honest ones. Good. Oh my god. It's just like, so good.
The only piece of, like, literally the only piece of dialogue that I found that was, like, kind of cheesy and dumb, but even in itself, like, was when one of the pirates is like, you're gonna feel pain, or like, I'm gonna make this hurt, and then Elizabeth hits him in the back of the head with a paddle.
Oh yeah.
And he just goes,
you like pain?
Obviously you've never worn a corset.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, cheesy, but like also like kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then she's like back.
Yeah.
But it honestly, like, the worst one wasn't even that bad.
Nah.
So I'm like, I'll give it to, like, that's
yeah.
Like, still fantastic writing, almost flawless.
Again, I wrote this down too. More good writing. I just wrote this movie script continues to amaze me when Barbossa and Jack are fighting as skeletons, and Barbossa goes, So what now, Jack? Are we locked in an epic battle until Judgment Day and the trumpets sound? And Jack just goes, or you could surrender.
Yeah. That's great.
Like, it's just so good.
It's so good. And then, like, that little closing where, like,
oh, God. I'm throwing things.
It was actually cool. I just realized Jack, like, shoots him when he's still a skeleton. Or when he's still, like, dead. He's not a skeleton. So he has, like, a hole in his chest. But, like, nothing's going to happen because he's alive. And then Will drops the coins, and there's, like, still a hole. And then he starts to, like, bleed and stuff. And you're like, oh. Like,
now I understand why he like, grabbed the coin, cut himself, then threw it.
Yeah. I also realized that today, like, he cut his hand, and I was like, wait, why did he cut his hand? And I'm like, oh, because he stole one of them. So, does that mean every single pirate who stole one had to get blood?
I guess. That would be the working theory then, right?
Yeah, because, like, I think so, because then, like, Bootstrap stole one, but, like, they need his son, because his son has, like, the same, quote-unquote, same blood.
Right.
Even though he probably doesn't. And so, like, oh, they only knew that, like, they needed his blood after they killed Bootstrap, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, they're telling that story, and they go, ironic, honestly. And then, like, the captains, I remember that.
Was the plan then? I guess the plan could have been them. They all would have just cut their hands or done whatever to blood, and then they all would have been freed. No, but they didn't even know. Maybe I guess they just didn't know.
They all did it already. The last they had all the coin except for one, and the rule is you return the coin and the blood with it. And they had the last coin, and it was Turner who took it. Right. So they needed the last coin and Turner's blood because the rest of the pirates already got their coins back and gave blood, which doesn't make sense. How you know which coins are responsible for what blood? But I guess if you just throw them all in there and then throw all the blood in with, like,
yeah,
which a lot of the HIV and a lot of
scurvy
in there. My goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What else did I write down? Good ending fight sequence. All was excellent of this whole thing. One thing I did write down earlier though that I didn't mention. I like how Norrington didn't hear like the swords and gunfire until a bell rung, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, there's pistols." It's like, come on, guy.
Bro, you're literally on water.
Yeah, the water.
He's on water across like a whole lake, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
You're like a couple miles away.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. Yeah, so the sequence ends. They leave. Jack sees that his brethren have left him behind, and so he is left to the gallows. Can we just talk about the fact that back in the olden days, these people would just show up to watch people die?
Entertainment, man. They did it. I mean, they did it.
That's so great. I know. Hey, at least that's for sport. You know what I mean? At least there's some action. This is just like a dude literally just suffocating.
I guess they really came out here and were like, they thought it was for justice, and they just like ah.
I just think that's fun. It's just so crazy to me.
Yeah. It's like in. Actually, no. I was gonna say it's like in Skyrim when I don't even know. I'm just thinking of this one mission where you go to a city and like somebody gets beheaded and there's like a bunch of people there. It's literally the same. It's just like, why are people out here looking at people die?
Yeah.
And it's just like
same thing in like Braveheart at the end when he dies. Like there's a whole crowd around him. Like
yeah.
Anyway,
Game of Thrones in like the first episode when Sean Bean has to behead the guy who ran away from the White Wall or the black coats or whatever they're called. Remember that?
Nope. Yeah, that's the first episode, dude. The only thing I remember from the first episode is Bran falling.
Dude, come on, man.
Anyway.
Don't spoil it.
Alright, dude. Anyway, I like how Jack like laughs at his charges. He's like, "Oh yeah, that was fun."
Oh yeah.
He like looks around for like recognition too. He's like, "Oh."
He goes Jack Sparrow, and he goes Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
I think he does it under his breath.
Yeah, it's like Captain. So good.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so a great scene. You know, he springs him from the trap. They run. They almost escape. And yet again, Orlando Bloom is in a circle of swords, all being pointed at him. And I love how he like taps all the swords. He's like, "Oh god."
Yeah.
And one of my favorite moments that I just picked up on was when someone was like, "He's a pirate," and then Will goes, "And a good man," and then Jack just like looks around. He's like, he mouths like, "That's me."
That's funny. I love that.
Oh, that was great.
Which also like then leads back to the conversation on the boat with Jack, where he was like, "You can either accept your father was a pirate and a good man, or you cannot accept it and like, or like and drown in the ocean." Or
drown because of it,
or something like that. So it's like, oh, look at that. We started off in the beginning of like his Will's conflict of like, oh, my father was a pirate, but my father's supposed to be like a good man, and no pirates are good.
Right.
So, like at the end, where it's like he's a pirate, but he's also a good man.
Right.
I'm like, oh, look at that. Look at that. Thomas Orks coming to a close.
Oh
my goodness.
So good.
Fantastic fighting.
Honestly, what a good movie. And again, it closes out so well with Jack like seeming like all under control, all good, giving a speech. All of a sudden, he just falls.
Yeah, dude. Why? I was thinking of this. I'm like, when did like these new blockbuster movies? When do they stop being this good?
I can tell you because I was literally thinking this. Do you know why? 'Cause it was really dumb. But right before I got on to do this, do you remember when you'd put in a Disney? Okay, let me just set the scene here. Ready? You get home from school, all right? You do your homework, you do all the stuff, you go outside and play with your friends. Then after dinner, come inside for dinner, right? Yeah. You've eaten. It's like, hey, it's a family movie time, right? Let's put in a DVD. It's going to be from Disney. Doesn't matter what it is. You put in the DVD, right? And all of a sudden it goes, we have our heading. And it just goes in. All right. And it goes through all of these fantastic movies, right? Yeah. And it's a classic Disney soundtrack. If you need to go, just go to YouTube. Just type in Disney DVD opening, all right? It'll take you back. When this ended, all these blockbuster movies being good, is when Disney realized, oh, hey, we can milk the crap out of anything we make.
You know what? Also I think it is?
That's what it is.
This might not be. Maybe they changed when China started to own
that's true too.
Have to pander to
because they're a massive market. Yeah. That's probably somewhat as well, honestly.
I was listening to a podcast of these two comedians, Bad Friends. I've talked to you about it, Bobby Lee and Anthony Santino.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about they were talking about Godzilla because they watched it, and or Godzilla v Kong.
Yeah.
And they were like, and Bobby Lee was like, Godzilla, like Skull Island, or like the 2015 or the 2012 or whatever one, like wasn't bad, and or like the originals were like really good, right? So like, why are these really bad? And Anthony Santino's like, because they literally have to make international movies now. That's why. Because they have to pander to China because China owns Hollywood. And they have to make movies that are blockbuster hits. And that's what they liked it.
That is a fascinating thing to consider and think about. And that's probably true.
Yeah. So that's why these movies that are made to be like dude, all these movies that are like, basically the ones that just aren't even like, don't get nominated for Oscars that much because they're just like, they're like AAA games. That's how I think of them as. They're like the big AAA games that the massive companies throw $300 million at because $300 million day of in China. Where it's like the good movies are like Phantom Thread, No Man Land, like Parasite. Like movies that are like, okay, we know what movie we're going to make. We're going to make this movie. We're not making it to sell money or sell tickets in China. We're barely even making
or merchandise or...
Yeah, it's like we're making this movie to make a movie because we want to make it and hopefully people like it. Not like people need to like this, so let's make a movie that they will like.
Yeah.
Like, that's what
that is a fascinating thing to consider, that a lot more big blockbuster movies need to be applicable and appealing to a global market now instead of just like more North American and even like European. I feel like that does contribute. Oh, my battery ran out. Ugh,
I mean, like, even thinking about like,
I have to go get another one.
Best Picture last year was Parasite, and that was like a Korean film, right?
Right.
And it's like, bro, they're not trying to impress America. They're not trying to impress. Maybe they're. I mean, I don't think they're trying to impress China. Like they just made a movie that happened to be like a Korean guy, like in South Korea, decided to make a movie. So like, and it was just a fantastic movie.
Right.
And it's like all these films aren't trying to appeal to the market or like just to one specific market of China, where like these movies are made like Hollywood movies that are made for like quote unquote supposed to kind of be like American, like they don't all have to be, but like, you know, when your movie's set in America with American actors, kind of with like an American plot, quote unquote, and then like they make it to try to pander to the mass market of the billion of people in China. It's like, oh, dude, what even is this, man?
I'm gonna go get a battery.
Oh my goodness!
Cut.
Battery?
No, it's upstairs.
Jeez, Thomas. So ridiculous, man.
All right, back. I do think that is an interesting topic to talk about. That how, I don't know. I think that has definitely changed the overall quality of films that come out of Hollywood now.
Especially
because
like
I mean, I feel like I'm out of focus, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm just crapping on Disney too much, but I feel like they're like guilty of it more than any other.
Disney's literally the epitome of appealing to a mass market. So like, they are that like, you don't want to like. I mean, you feel like you're hating on Disney, but Disney's literally the example. Like, they're literally the dictionary of Like, they bought up every good IP just so they can sell to a mass market and make merchandise and make more movies off of it to get more.
And like, it's so shameless sometimes. Like we've talked about this before, and we can revisit it when we talk about Star Wars. But like, I think one of the best examples is in the new trilogy, specifically in the first movie, in The Force Awakens. They have that the female crazy silver stormtrooper that's played by the chick from Game of Thrones, if you didn't know. That was literally for nothing other than merchandise. Like, think about it. She is not at all needed in the story at all. Not at all, like, even needed at all. Nothing contributed to the overall arc of even Finn. And she comes back in the second movie for like 2 seconds, and then she dies because she wasn't needed. The only thing they did with that character is sell merch.
I mean, dude, even the little animals on the island that Luke was on, or
the Ewoks.
Luke was on.
No, the Porgs. The Porgs.
Like tiny birds.
Yeah, the Porgs.
They're there for like two shots.
Yeah.
And like they're there to like what? There's a joke with Chewbacca eating one of them cooked, and they're like, meh. And I'm like, they literally made a cute little animal that they can make plushies out.
Yep.
And like a week later, I literally saw like an ad for these plushies, and I'm like, good job, nice.
Yep.
Good job.
And if you want to see a comparison there of pre George Lucas being in control to post George Lucas selling this whole thing, again, you can just use the Ewoks. The Ewoks were literally like, they created a whole like culture behind these people that contributed to the story. And yes, they made merch out of it, which is cool, but like, they actually had a purpose in the story, whereas this was like a shameless, like, we're gonna make merch, so let's put them in there for 4 seconds. I don't know, I just hate that, and I feel like Hollywood movies have really suffered because of this. So when you find like a good one, like overall, I'd say overall it suffered, but there are still good like movies that come out, obviously.
It's almost like the only like not shameless movies that are out it for money are now like the
smaller movies, like almost the indie films.
Like even the smaller movies, but also like the serious, like the not like you can't sit down and watch Marvel and be like, holy crap! All in all, this is like a 9 out of 9.
Right.
It's like the Marvel ones are like entertaining, but like pretty boring.
They're all a solid 7.5. If you had to average it, it would be just under an 8, or if not, maybe like just an 8.
You know what? And the best ones are the first ones that they were actually taking a chance with. Are Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. The original, like, those are the good ones. And then they got popular, and they're like, oh, there's a market for these. Let's just cookie cutter every single one so we know if they're good. Oh my gosh. That's why even now, like, the new like, original movies for, like, Black Panther, Ant-Man, like, what's her name? Captain Marvel, are crap. They're so bad. Because they made this cookie cutter and they just filled those in like they tried to do with like Captain America. Oh my gosh. It's so bad.
Yep.
I also just don't like Marvel, so like I'm probably crapping on them a little bit more than I should, but honestly that's not true. Marvel's just boring to me now.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
that's all.
Fair.
I don't hate Marvel. They're just kind of boring.
I feel like we've hashed this conversation either here or in person or whatever a lot of times, but 100%, it's just disappointing as fans of good cinema that it's just like hard to find good new movies. Like one of the best movies I just watched that was new was Palm Springs. That's like that movie. Have you seen it? You should check it out. It's on Hulu. It's with Andy Samberg. It's actually excellent. I'm pretty sure it was a film festival movie. that then was like picked up on Hulu and stuff, and it was nominated for an Oscar.
Really?
It's excellent. It's so good. You should definitely check it out. If you haven't seen Palm Springs, go watch it. And that was like the best movie that was brand new that I've seen in a while. Like, it was so good. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation to have. That either with merchandising to having to diversify how you make money from movies, to also having to make global, like having them appeal to a global audience has affected how the quality coming out of Hollywood is. And I'm sure we're going to come back to this so many times, I'm sure. Especially for Star Wars when we finally get there, because I have a lot to say on that.
Yeah.
And if we ever get to Marvel, I'm sure we'll have to talk about it then. And I mean, honestly, any like big IP, it kind of comes into, into it. But especially with the new ones, and especially with like the episode we just did 2 weeks ago from Godzilla vs. Kong, that's a perfect example of literally just a whole film series, apparently because it's a series, just pandering to like the Asian market, which is whatever, but like you also get what you get with that. Like, it's just crap. But
also, like, these are like American-made movies, and they're like, we're making this though to sell in Asia.
Right.
Like, it's not like they're like Asian foreign films to us, and we watch them and we're like, oh, this isn't made for us. It's movies that should be made for us, or like the people of our general America. I mean, not saying that movies should be restrictive, but they make Hollywood movies for Asia, or like for.
I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah, it would be like Bollywood making movies for here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because like we have a larger market than like Bollywood or something.
Right.
It's like, Hollywood is like the staple of movies and has been for a while.
Right.
And it's like you can make these big blockbusters, but like even then, like once you start trying to aim at every single person ever,
right,
you just make it so general that it becomes so boring because you can't do anything cool with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fine to make like even the whole MonsterVerse crap, like whatever, make it for the Asian market. Who cares? Like, obviously that's your biggest cash cow, but like it definitely you can still notice like the effects of that, not just of those movies, of those 5 movies, but across the board of the rest of like Disney's new IPs. Like, now because we're making these and obviously does so well, now all of a sudden Marvel has to do the same thing of like, oh, they made a lot of money over there, we should do that too. And then it's like, all right, you're literally taking an established like IP and like different stories and now having to like mold it so that you know what I mean? So it's not this over here isn't necessarily bad, but if it like I don't know if poisons is the right word, but like affects what goes on over here.
I mean, you have to make the plot, you have to make the writing, you have to make the characters applicable to the entire world.
Right.
If you're gonna be making a general for America and Asia and like Europe, you have to literally cater to every single person in one single movie.
Right.
And like to do that, you have to just make it bland because you have to make it so it hits everyone. And it's just like,
I mean, if it's still good and appeals to everyone and makes money, awesome. But it just sucks when it's like, wow, you did this because it would make more money, but it suffered because of that, and it could have been better. That's what's like just saddening.
I agree. Obviously, if they make a very good movie and it makes a lot of money, like
sure, sweet.
What's it called? Wait, Avatar, great movie. But yeah, I like Avatar a lot. But yeah, all right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
just ran it for like 20 minutes.
A little bit. Anyway, fantastic movie. I enjoyed my time rewatching this so much. It was so good. I forgot how truly good this movie is.
I forgot as well. I literally watched it over quarantine and I forgot as well.
Yeah.
But honestly, like me taking notes on these like actually makes me look a little like listen a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or like otherwise it'd be on my phone or like I miss like, flipping his hand.
I would always just watch his movies just to get like a little fix of Jack Sparrow because he's just so enjoyable. Yeah. And you can definitely watch his movies completely like mindlessly of just like watching for like the fun parts of it. But then also if you like look a little deeper, it's even better, which is awesome. Because sometimes, you can just like mindlessly watch a movie. It's like, oh, this was good. And then you pay attention. It's like, oh, nah, this is like the opposite. Like you pay attention more and it gets even better, which is awesome.
Also, one little note. I don't think we said this. The music in this.
Oh,
score in this movie, fantastic, so good. Probably one of the best scores.
Honestly, I'm gonna go so bold as to say this is the best original score of any movie, film,
I don't know. That's
IP.
It's pretty.
I know it's a lot, but I think it is.
That's wild, but
I know.
I think it's fantastic.
Yep.
Like these, you hear it and you're like Pirates. Like I think of Jack Sparrow, I think of Pirates, I think of this movie, I think of this.
It's
like,
so good.
It's almost as good as like Star Wars when like you hear like the Star Wars like dun 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 like that.
Yeah.
Like dun dun dun. I'm gonna finish that, but like you are like, oh, that's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It's like you hear the sound, you're like, this is Pirates of the Caribbean and this is Jack Sparrow.
Yep.
It's just really good.
Yeah.
Even like outside of like their like motifs for the characters, just its general music.
Yeah.
Is just fantastic.
Yeah.
But,
excellent.
You know.
Excellent movie all around. Honestly, so good.
So good.
So IMDb gives this an 8, a solid 8.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes gave us a 79, so 8.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with. I think my rating is probably gonna be like an 88. Honestly, 8.8. I love this movie. It's so good.
I was gonna say like an 83, just because I know what movies are coming ahead, and I'm gonna give myself some room. But an 8.3, I think, is right there. It's like really good.
Right.
Maybe even an 8.5. I'll give it an 8.5. I think it's really good enough to get an 8.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
Fun movie. So good. So fun.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it in a while, go back, check it out. It's a good time.
Do it.
Yeah, I believe that is all we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and our subsequent rant that came after it, which was always fun. I'm sure we'll revisit both of those things later on. If you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button down below for new episodes every Wednesday, hopefully at 7 a.m. starting up again. We took a week off because I was out of town and we didn't really want to stack 2 episodes in a week, so whatever. So yeah, next week we'll be back with Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Should be a good time. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. Let us know if you enjoyed this video down below in those comment section, and make sure to hit that like button as well. Yes, and of course, I'm going to remind you again, subscribe, please.
Absolutely, just the like.
Yeah, do that. Without further ado. Also, hold on, really quick. Now that I'm looking around, I have a bunch of Funko Pops. I need to get Jack Sparrow's Funko Pop. That would be sick. That would actually be kind of sick, honestly.
Next purchase, baby. Next impulse buy. Already got it.
Kind of be fire. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Thomas. That is Isaac. We are brothers on air, and we will see you guys next week.
Yup.
Bye.
Deuces.